just stand and state your name and the town that you're from and share your comments. Yes.
Daniel Larson, 147 Hope Valley Road, Hebron, Connecticut. I happened to be listening to TV the other day, and there was a thing that was on CPTV, and it was talking about the attributes of natural gas, which I was surprised. But it was talking about its energy efficiency, that it's environmental cleanliness. It's apparently the cleanest fuel that fossil fuel that there is for the environment, and the cost. So I was just very interested to see that on CPTV, and as I said, knowing that they were going to be doing their presentation, what a perfect, time to have that actually on the air. I wish I could remember if it was a Nova or, just what it was that it was at, but, so, just want to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Vin Colonna, 45 Centerbrook Drive, Amston. Just would like to thank the board again regarding the athletic program and the fields and taking care of the fields. We had 2 great home games for soccer. Both the girls and boys hosted. Boys hosted quarterfinals. Girls hosted a second round game here at home. So we didn't have to do any traveling, which was great. Not the outcome that we wanted, but we went up against some big towns, over 25,000 in population, and we held our own pretty well. I would also ask that I hope the facilities committee would keep on with the field situation and what's going on. I myself have observed coming down the 316 field, the Wall Street field in the afternoon, 2 football teams playing on one side of the field and 2 soccer teams playing on the other side of the field. Soccer can't start till 4:30 because girls soccer is out there before them. So they're all playing on one field. If we ever lost that practice field, we'd be in some pretty tough shape. So I hope that we continue to look for outlets. Speaking on behalf of Hebron Youth Baseball, the board is anxious to try to get vets into tournament shape so that we could host tournaments here. The Youth Baseball League has hosted several tournaments. We've only been able to do them at Burnt Hill because we don't have the facilities at vets to be able to handle a tournament. So we will continue to pursue that with Parks and Rec and hope that the school will be ready to move on their field situation. Also, just like to mention, for standard-based grading, one thing I don't agree with, there was a comment made by Mr. Dick Shea from Marlboro about how few people came in and how they don't represent the majority. We're all adults here. We don't need to bring in 100 to 150 people into this meeting to cause a ruckus. We talked to a lot of people, as evidenced by the passages of the budgets the last several years going through on the first try. So we rally a lot of people when we need to, and I would just ask that you take that into account. And also the communication, I hope, in those situations where there's not a lot of people, I don't remember seeing a Rham email blast on informational meeting for standard-based grading. I hope that we would do that if it ever came down to that. I hope they would take the comments from the public into view before anything was implemented. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to address the board at this time? Seeing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 4, which is additions to the agenda. Are there any proposed additions by the board?
I have 2, Danny, please. I'd like to add to the agenda for discussion of an article that was written in the school mascot, actually 2 articles, one under the school mascot and then the other one under the paying for Rham games. So with the current board policy on that, those 2 I'd like to add.
Is there a second to Mr. O'Connor's motion? Second by Rich. Discussion?
Are we taking action on that?
I don't know, I just want to hear what the motion is. You just want to have a discussion on it?
I'd like to just clarify, I think there's been a lot of discussion before previous, there was an article that was written in Rham, which I thought was very well put together by the students. I do have some concerns that I've seen different things from the middle school and the high school that we're trying to get away from our identity as our mascot. And there's been a lot of discussion, I guess, a couple of years ago, but I want to get some clarity on this, that we do have a school mascot. My kids have mascots on their uniforms in the high school, but my nephews in the middle school don't have anything. So I want to make sure that we have a clear-cut path or a direction from our board that we are not giving up our identity as a station. There was, I don't know if anybody else read the article, but there seems to be some disparity on where we're going with that. So I just want to have clarity from the board that, as a discussion point, that we do have a school mascot.
Teresa's done a really good job, I think, of
we're going
handling
to
the whole
represent
thing.
the mascot proudly. That's on that. On the other item, can we go on to the next one?
We're in discussion, we made it as a double motion.
Okay.
Two items.
The other thing, with the paying of the games, another great article, I thought, great comments on both sides, but there seems to be some, again, there needs to be clarity on what really is going on. I think the administration said one thing, the board was mentioned, I was mentioned, and I want to just clarify what the position is of the school and what our role is for charging students for admission to games, which I don't agree with, but I think we just need to have some clarity from what the administration is saying and what was written in the article.
Carolyn.
I just want to point out, first of all, Alan asked a question, are we going into executive session on litigation shortly? Okay. And I'm looking at our agenda tonight, and we already are showing ourselves going until 9:30, and we're going into another executive session to discuss negotiations with the administrators. And I'm wondering if perhaps these two agenda items that are being proposed to be added could be tabled to a subcommittee so that we aren't here until we all listen.
Maddie, you have comments?
About the mascot plan, I wrote that article, there's really not a controversy at the school, we just needed to pick a controversial topic to write it about for the assignment. So it's not really up for discussion, at least amongst the students. So I just picked the topic arbitrarily, no one really was discussing it. I don't think it's an issue in terms of the student being controversial in the student body. So that was just the one comment I wanted to make.
Any other comments?
I do think both issues should be discussed. I do think we should take action on the second one. And on the first one, we need to come to clarity on the into a long discussion, but we do need to get all on the same page.
Rich, I'm sorry, can you distinguish, is the first one paying at Rham games when you're saying
That's the second one.
Okay, so the first one you're saying is the mascot.
Mascot.
And I'm sorry, what did you say?
That one needs to be discussed because we have different parties doing different things. We really need to come to a common agreement on where we should be at this point.
The only comment and observation I'm going to make and recommend to the board is that two of these items could be responded to with a letter to the editor of the Rham where it's so needed by any member of the community or the board. I think they're important issues and we need to discuss them in the order of time and keeping the board here and together on some very important issues tonight. As Mrs. Shea said, we have a special session, executive session coming early on the gas issues. We have discussions on negotiations in executive session. We have a full agenda tonight. This is going to go on, not to mention all the committee reports. I think this is an important issue. If we need to have it on the agenda tonight, then the will of the board it will be. But my only request is that please have some mercy on the rest of the board members here tonight and the people who are here in attendance because this is going to go on for a long time. And if there are issues related to some of the things in the Rambler, I think it would be fitting for at least the students to have an opportunity to see an agenda item, since it's their news magazine that had the item, and at least have them here represented to share their input. So either way, with that, that would be my only comments. Any other comments or discussion on this?
My thought, sorry, don't you?
Here you are.
Okay, sorry. My thought is, I think that maybe the Rambler maybe brought on the topic, but I don't know necessarily that is the underlying concern. What I'm hearing is that we're looking for both schools to have some uniformity in how they're presenting as a Rham student at athletic games, at whatever functions. So I'm thinking that is the underlying issue, is the uniformity of, and I know that in the past, we've had conversations about how we brand ourselves, and that's where I'm thinking that this is coming up in the, for conversation.
I'll just clarify, it's not the Rambler itself, I mean, there are two topics talking about.
I understand the issue, but you opened it as a segue, there were 2 articles in the Rambler.
I didn't open it, I said that the two issues were discussed, to read back what I discussed, but they were articles in the Rambler, but these are issues that I think that have been going on long enough that that kind of resurface things to talk about it. And quite frankly, all our agendas are full. I promise I don't think it'll take very long, but I think we should have that discussion to clarify what our position is going forward. And like I said, I think with the mascot, it's not about the debate. It's about clarity in the high school, having a mascot on your uniform versus having Rham as our logo, and we're not, we have a St. Jude.
I appreciate it. I don't want to debate the merits of it, and the discussion as to whether or not it's urgent enough to put on the agenda tonight. I'm sorry.
The only comment I was gonna make on that is, I wrote a letter about that to Satan when they didn't put it on the scoreboard. Unfortunately, we use the name mascot, and I don't really like that name being used, because like I wrote in the letter, a Satan was a wise man, a leader, and a chief. Actually, it's more of a person to emulate, really. And we would hope that our students would try to follow the same thing, become leaders of the community, or that's all the statement, so I see no problem with saying.
I understand, I just want to know if it's important. I haven't received, has any other board members received any emails, calls from the public, letters, public comments asking that this be an urgent matter tonight?
I have not, and I just want to add that I agree totally with you. Too often when we add issues to the agenda that maybe there's a diverse opinion about, and when we add it, it does not give people in the community or the students in this situation an opportunity to come and address the issue here. So I really think this should be tabled. And if you place it on the next agenda, and then we can have a healthy discussion.
Sue?
I feel like our agenda is always packed. Don't say one strong. I feel like someone made a suggestion that it's always packed and that we have to set limits and we can't finish what we have on our agenda or even add things to our agenda. It is a line item, additions to the agenda, so there is that ability to do that. If we can't fit it all, maybe we need to have 2 meetings a month, because we only meet once a month and we have a lot to cover. And we probably could cover a lot more, but we just can't because we only have 1 meeting. So I understand everyone's points of views, but our agenda is always packed.
I think, just to piggyback on what multiple people have said, I'm not opposed to discussing it. I know that the meetings go late and everything, but I was sitting here before someone said this, thinking, but I would want to hear more from other people too, not just from the board on, especially I think on the mascot issue, because I haven't received any emails or communication. You're right, but I don't know if anybody has, and maybe they're prepared to share that. I don't know who that would be, if that would be the administration or who, but, I'm not opposed to adding it, but I wonder if we could ask for a report or something, or to hear, because Maddie actually wrote the article and said it wasn't really a controversial thing with students, and I heard something about that from another student. Just so we're best, kind of like someone said, informed to the best that we can be.
Any further discussion on whether or not we add it to the agenda tonight? I'd like to ask for the vote.
Madam Conferences, decisions are being made, and I don't think the board necessarily agrees with them, that we're not using our safety logo on school items. So we really need to have that discussion to decide if we do need to push it on to another group.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of adding it to the agenda, say aye.
To which one, the mascot?
Both, they will make a
All right.
combination
Good
of
vote,
both
yes.
items for the mascot and for the proposed discussion of the school mascot and the charging student fees. Okay, all those opposed? Okay, motion passes. So this will become item, I'm sorry? It was 5-3.
No,
No, I didn't see many, I'm sorry.
yeah,
That's 5-6.
5-6 against?
don't you need
For it,
two-thirds to
okay,
add
so motion
something to the agenda?
Fine, yes, you do. Two-thirds of the motion fails. Moving on to item number 5, executive session. Need a motion for the board to enter into executive session for discussion of possible action concerning litigation of the school windows, of the district windows, campus windows. Sorry, I'd like to ask for the superintendent and council to be part of that discussion. Motion made by Dave, is there a second? Second by Manny. Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor of going into executive session, say aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? We are in executive session. We're going to go into executive session. We have it listed down on the agenda for 10 minutes. Is that possible, Bob? That we'll be able to get through this in 10 minutes? Okay. So we'll have a 10-minute session. There's a waiting area just outside in the hallway. As soon as we